For years, Blockbuster looked unstoppable. Thousands of stores, millions of customers, a brand that became synonymous with movie night. For many people, Blockbuster wasn't just a store. It was part of a weekly routine. Friday nights, new releases, a physical place that defined how entertainment was consumed. That sense of permanence made Blockbuster feel untouchable. But behind the bright blue signs, something was already breaking. And by the time Blockbuster realized it, it was too late. This wasn't the story of one bad decision. It was the story of many small ones, all pointing in the same direction. At its peak, Blockbuster dominated home entertainment. Walking into a Blockbuster store was an experience. Rows of VHS tapes, later DVDs. New releases lined up on the walls, with older titles fading into the background. The company didn't just rent movies, it controlled how people accessed entertainment. And for a long time, that control felt permanent. Blockbuster's business model was built around physical stores. Those stores were expensive, but they were also powerful. They created visibility, convenience, habit. Customers didn't compare options. They went where they always went. But those stores also created a dependency. Every part of the business was optimized for physical locations, real estate, inventory, foot traffic. As technology changed, Blockbuster stayed anchored to the system that had once made it successful. That anchor would become a weight. One of Blockbuster's most profitable features wasn't the movies themselves, it was late fees. Customers paid extra when they returned movies late, sometimes without realizing it. Those fees quietly became a major source of profit, but they also created friction. People felt punished for small delays. They tolerated it because there were few alternatives. As long as Blockbuster controlled access, customers accepted the inconvenience. Once alternatives appeared, that tolerance disappeared. As the internet became faster and more reliable, new ideas began to emerge. Movies no longer needed to live on shelves. They could be shipped, streamed, accessed digitally. The idea wasn't revolutionary, but the execution was. Blockbuster noticed these changes, but noticing something is not the same as acting on it. Internally, Blockbuster faced a conflict. Its stores generated revenue. Its late fees generated profit. Any serious shift toward a new model threatened both at the same time. That created hesitation. So instead of fully committing to change, Blockbuster experimented cautiously. It tested alternatives without urgency. It explored online rentals while still prioritizing stores. The company tried to protect the past while stepping into the future. That rarely works. Meanwhile, competitors were building systems that didn't rely on physical locations at all. They removed friction instead of monetizing it. No late fees, no storefronts, no pressure to return anything on time. That approach directly targeted Blockbuster's weakest points. But from inside Blockbuster, the threat didn't feel immediate. The company was still large, still profitable, still everywhere. That size created confidence, and confidence delayed action. Another challenge was organizational mindset. Blockbuster was structured around retail operations, real estate decisions, inventory management, store performance metrics. A digital-first model required a completely different way of thinking, different incentives, different risks, different definitions of success. That kind of shift is difficult for large organizations, especially ones built on systems that once worked extremely well. As consumer behavior continued to change, The cracks became visible. Store traffic declined. Operating costs stayed high. Flexibility disappeared. Blockbuster wasn't losing because people stopped watching movies. It was losing because people changed how they wanted access to them. And Blockbuster didn't change fast enough to follow. By the time the company fully recognized the problem, the advantage was gone. What had once been market dominance turned into inertia. The very scale that made Blockbuster powerful made it slow. And in industries shaped by technology, speed matters more than size. Blockbuster's failure wasn't about ignorance, it was about hesitation. The company understood change was coming. It simply believed it had more time than it actually did. That belief turned out to be the most expensive mistake of all. This case isn't just about Blockbuster. It's about how success can lock companies into their own past. When systems are optimized for yesterday's wins, they struggle to see tomorrow's risks. And by the time those risks become obvious, the decision has already been made. Blockbuster's story often gets reduced to a single missed opportunity. But the deeper lesson is more uncomfortable. The company didn't fail because it ignored change. It failed because it tried to delay it, because changing too fast felt more dangerous than changing too late. That trade-off is easy to justify in the moment and costly to recognize afterward. For many companies, the real risk isn't disruption. It's believing that success will last just a little longer than it actually does. That is the case of Blockbuster.